Hey everyone, the third wave of the MCU Mondo Steelbook series has finally arrived. I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. This took so damn long for Zavi, who has graciously shipped this out to me, to get this. Where I ordered all 5 of this back last year, when they were first announced. Cost a bit more than I was expecting. But the fact that I had to basically go for 5 separate packages instead of just, you know what, let's just wait till all 5 are available and then we'll ship them out together. You know, saves the convenience, you know, of space, timing. They spread this out for 6 weeks of grueling tracking via international shipping, which honestly I have never done. If it wasn't for the MCU Mondo series, I would not even bother because this is way too much work for customs and everything, but that's just a personal thing for me. But generally speaking, this took a lot longer than it should have been. And ironically, it went in order of, like, you know, it went from Civil War, then Iron Man 3, then Thor Ragnorak, Ant-Man the Wasp, Captain Marvel. Seems like the rest of the Zavi customers who were getting these Steelbooks were getting them around the same time period as I was. So that was kind of my label on there. But anywho, they're here, they arrive, and this completes the Disney side of the Infinity Saga. So to get into closer detail here, first of all, we have Iron Man 3. This Iron Man 3 completes the Iron Man trilogy. This also completes Phase 2 of the MCU. And actually, this Phase 2 is the only MCU Mondo series that has been complete. Currently, right now, Incredible Hulk is owned by Universal, which they're not playing ball with Mondo. And of course, Sony owns Spider-Man, both in this case Homecoming and Far From Home. So those are also not playing ball. So it's ironically the most, let's say, the less received one, which I know it's debatable whether or not Phase 2 is technically the worst. I know people are going to say Phase 4 is, but that's a whole different ball of wax there. It's weird that Phase 2 is currently the only phase of the MCU's Infinity Saga that is complete in Mondo form. You can buy it both on the American Best Buy version, now you can buy it with the international Mondo version. So talk about this specific one in particular, Iron Man 3. I really do like it. I feel like it encompasses everything that the movie itself did. The cover art reminds me more of the end credits to Iron Man 3, where it's literally the best of Tony's moments throughout only the 3 Iron Man films, sans the Avengers film at the time. It actually has like a similar text font to the final shot of the end credit scene. It does reuse an Iron Man 2 shot, but mostly it's all very Mondo-esque, you know, very artistic versions. You have Iron Man falling with the airline passenger, the Mandarin in the background looming. I love the art on this. I really do. It's like they just pop in a very unique way, and I really do love it. It definitely is just a different interpretation of the what was it? The posters from the original release, so to speak. On the back, you get a much more closer shot of Rhodey in action, which like really much I do enjoy. But my only one critique, and I'll get to more of this when we get to later on in the thing. It's like, I don't know if Mondo does this with everything. I've never really paid much attention to the rest above me. But it's kind of weird that like they kind of just reuse, like they do like this one big ass poster, and then when it comes to like the rest of the Steelbook, they kind of just zoom in a lot. So for example, going inside the cover here, the inside cover is basically just a close-up of Iron Man's helmet from the front. Even the disc is the same thing as well, and same thing with that. So I'm not sure if they were just reusing assets or they were trying to minimize the cost of it. But I do like that the sleeve, which is a more common thing with Mondo instead of Best Buy, is that the sleeve actually adds extra effects to it. So here you get a much more pronounced red circle outline, which I guess represents the arc reactor or Jarvis in a way of the suit of Iron Man in the cover of the poster. So that was really cool, in my opinion. Next one, and that's the only Phase 2 one. So Phase 1 has been done since in the last Mondo wave. This concludes Phase 2. So the rest of this is all Phase 3. So going to Phase 3, we finally got Captain America Civil War, which I'm like, let's freaking go. I feel like of the 5, Iron Man 3, Civil War, Ragnarok, all A-S tier rankings in terms of my book. So overall, them using this shot, which honestly, I don't know if this was the Mondo poster, because I know Mondo also does posters that you can order and have them printed and, you know, obviously frame on your wall, so obviously they are reusing this, but this looks really cool. I've never seen much of the Mondos, but just seeing like the core teams fighting each other, the A in the middle, because like, yeah, this was technically kind of like Avengers Civil War, but you know, this was Captain America's film, so it was called Captain America Civil War. So I really liked it. Also, my boy Spidey getting some representation here, because in the other home medias, mostly from my American side, Spider-Man's not featured at all in there, which it bummed me so out that like he never got a proper, I don't think he ever got a proper Civil War character poster or anything. It's like his involvement was so kept secret, except that one public snippet at the end of the second trailer. So him being represented here, my boy, I'm so happy about it. The embossed effect for the sleeve is just the Avengers logo, so it's just the A itself. The back is, again, I think this is one of the worst case of the zoom out, where like literally it's just specifying the A logo in the back, so I'm not really the biggest fan of that, to be honest. But I do like the black on this. The black is very much like a very specific dark shade, which I really do like. Opening it up here, we have, again, more reusing assets of the zoom ups of the character shots, but I do admit, like, I can tell Mondo does like Chris Evans' face a lot. A lot of people do. Also, this goes without saying, is that this also completes the Captain America trilogy of films, so now you can own all the Captain America films on the Mondo MCU side. Next up, the last of the threes for this Wave 3, ironically, Thor Ragnarok. I think Thor Ragnarok, being the more artistic, much more of the first MCU films to really embrace the color and the style of the original comics back in the day. Definitely the cover art definitely represents that a lot. I really do. I love the use of purple. Not really. Purple's not really my go-to color, so like this kind of sticks out a little bit, but I think in this effect it really does work. It does have a little bit of a red tint to the purple, so that really was. The embossed feature on the sleeve is the is Valkyrie going into battle, so that was really cool. Otherwise, it's still Valkyrie's in the regular pose here. The back is so freaking cool. It's Hela's close-up face, played by Cate Blanchett, which is like, honestly, this is really cool. Like, this should have been like, yeah, I would have preferred like put Zemo's face behind Civil War or something. Like, you know, I'm still talking crap about Civil War, about the cover for that. Inside, you get the disc, which again is more reusing. I think I already said that a lot in this installment. But on the inside, you get to see Valkyrie full close-up in action, which I'm like, let's go. That honestly makes sense. A little bit like kind of like bummed because like the Steelbook, the way it's printed, like it is like cutting out Valkyrie a little bit in the middle, so that was a little weird for me. Also, of course, this concludes the Thor trilogy of the MCU films. Obviously, there is Love and Thunder, but that's Phase 4, so we haven't gotten to that just quite yet. Next up, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. For this one, this was very, very unique. This definitely, I feel like I should have looked more on the promotional side of materials, because this is very much just a unique helmet shot, which I do appreciate. The Ant-Man films, at least before Quantumania, were not really the most impactful films, so they didn't really have to go too crazy with the posters, especially with Mondo. But this is a very much of a more of an artistic choice with the lines. The white lines across from Ant-Man's helmet is definitely him, like kind of the shrink or grow effect, whatever you want to call it that. The embossed sleeve feature is Ant-Man and Wasp rushing into battle. And on the back, if you flip it over, is Wasp's helmet. So technically, you could really, it does really work. I didn't get a formal clear shot of this, but you can, if you want to, just flip it up if you are a Wasp fan and you want Wasp to be represented here, which also is kind of like a little bit of a, for me personally, a reference to the Ant-Man and the Wasp regular Steelbook from Best Buy, where like one side is Ant-Man growing up and down, and the other side is the Wasp growing up and down, so you kind of can switch between the two, whichever one. The only thing is that this doesn't have the logo on it, unlike the flip side of it, which is ironic because like the next one, Captain Marvel, is going to do the exact thing I'm going to mention. Like, they should have just put like another variable like the logo here, so like if people really want to truly display it, they can do that. But the inside is sadly kind of like a little lackluster. It literally is just the growing effect, or like the line coloring they did with the other side, and the discs are just like red and yellow versions of the helmets. That's basically it. Nothing really too special there. This does complete Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2 from the Infinity Saga. Obviously no Ant-Man 3 here because that's Phase 5, so that's really far out. We just got that film 2 weeks ago in theaters at the time of this recording. And lastly, we have Captain Marvel, which, I'm going to be completely honest with you, if I wasn't collecting these and I was only choosing what I really liked, I would not purchase this. I feel like of the 5, this is my least favorite. It is very basic. I don't like the coloring for the face. Like, the shade of yellow and gold they use, it's not my favorite. It really is not. It does not, I don't know why, it's a little bit unnatural for me, to say the least. It really doesn't. The emboss feature for this one is the aura for Captain Marvel's, you know, power blasts, let's call it. I know this is a term. I know they said it in Miss Marvel. I just forgot. But the cool thing is that on the opposite side, you have Captain Marvel with her helmet, and they have the logo on here. So it's like, they knew, like, oh, you don't like this one? You can use this one. And yes, you can put the emboss feature over this one, and it will take over. And honestly, this is the version I'm going to use when I'm hanging this up. Because, no offense, it's just the gold and yellow. Like, they didn't pick a good color, in my opinion. I'm sorry. And the inside, you know, honestly, it chooses the superior version with Captain Marvel's helmet. But, like, even the close-up shot with the yellow and gold, it really does not look peaceful to me. It really does not, of any sort. This also concludes the Captain Marvel. I was just trying to keep it going. I was like really fading after Thor. I apologize. But yeah, so at this point, that's 19 of the MCU films from the Infinity Saga that are now on Mondo. It turns out you can get a Mondo Steelbook out of it. Of course, I just mentioned before, Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man Far From Home are not included in the set. As of right now, there is no word if we're ever going to get those. Those are like much of a more unique partnership that I don't think is going to be included, which it does suck for me because I would love a complete Mondo series for the Infinity Saga. At this point, with there being 3 waves in, I just don't think it's possible right now. It really does suck. It'll never be truly complete. But at least right now, you can own 90% of the Infinity Saga on Mondo Steelbooks. Of course, obviously, it comes with the 4K Ultra HD disc and, of course, the Blu-ray disc, so you can enjoy this in the best possible fashion. The pricing on these ones this time around were more money. The original cost for the first ones was, I believe, $42.99, and now this one is now at a staggering $51.99. So they are pretty pricey. I'm not sure if like they only did that to make the money back, considering the fact they only were keeping to the Infinity Saga. They did not go beyond. They could have definitely experimented with like Black Widow, because for me, Black Widow is kind of like in that weird, not Phase 3 really, but not Phase 4 really. If that makes any sense. I don't know how I'm really going to explain that, to be honest, even further. But anywho, yeah, so I would have personally just said, screw it, just go with what you already have, personally speaking. So that's fine. Pricing wise, again, if it wasn't for me being a collector, I really would have just saved that 30 bucks down the road. But I'm like, you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do, because guess what? eBay sellers, they're dicks. They're really much dicks. They really are. So I'm like, I'd rather get them now than biting the cost down the road. That was my pronunciation about it. So what's next after this for Mondo? You know, obviously, you know, it's gonna be a hit. People are still gonna buy these. You know, they're eating these steelbooks up. So it's no doubt Mondo is going to continue their partnership down the road. We just wrapped up Phase 4 of the MCU last year with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It just came out on home media last month. So that would be ideal next. That is 7 movies, so technically speaking, they could easily knock out everything in one wave if they really want to. I personally think yes, and actually now that I think about it, no, it's not 7, it's 6, because Sony owns No Way Home, so that would be immediately off the cuffs if they weren't still going to get the rights to that one. So technically, they could just say, screw it, we'll just release all of Phase 4 in one sitting, which honestly they really should do. I mean, Mondo, from what I'm aware, they release these waves every other year. So I believe Wave 2 came out in 2021. I could be wrong on that factual thing. And then Wave 3 just came out this year in 2023. So if we were to get Wave 4 in, like, let's say, end of 2024, that'd be fine. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you. By that point, Phase 5 would be wrapped up. That would be a pretty good way, like, you know, celebrate. Like, we just wrapped up one phase, Fiachiku. Here's the previous phase, you know, within the Mondo family, which I think would be pretty cool. I've already seen some of the Mondo posters they used for some of the Phase 4 movies we have seen before. I feel like they could do a cool job with Shang-Chi, with Eternals, with Doctor Strange. The possibilities are endless, and for me, I really hope this continues going further down the road. And yeah, I'll keep supporting them. But as for this wave right now, in terms of my rating of it, I think the overall consistency is good. There is a bit of, you know, a weird, like, you know, you have some cool ideas here and wasn't implemented in everything else. I know everything has its own distinct flavor. You know, that's what the MCU is, you know, just because it's all comic book superhero films. Each one has its own identity and each one has their own feeling and interpretation. And, you know, while definitely each 5 covers have their own unique take of the movie that they're presenting, I would have liked it if, like, you know, there was, like, some sort of uniform. Like, if you were going to get the Ant-Man and Wasp, you know, reversible, you know, sideway, at least put the logo on the second side, because that's what Captain Marvel did. And this is in the same way. This wasn't, like, a late idea to, like, a different way. so to speak. Civil War, they should have done a better back cover, in my opinion, even though, yeah, if you really want to be minded to it, you'll probably have this, so no one's really going to see it. I do understand that logic, but still, I don't know. This is it. This is, in my opinion, on the speak of it. So for me personally, overall speaking, this wave was great. I really digged it, and I'm very happy the Infinity Saga, at least on the Disney side of things, is mostly complete. And yeah, so hopefully when we begin the Multiverse Saga next time, you know, knock on wood speaking, I do hope it's going to be even better than before. But we shall see how it is. You can purchase so far all of these steelbooks you have seen on I bought them on us.zavi.com. If you want to go check them out, there I will leave links in the description. As always, prepare to lose a lot of your money. I'm just saying that expect $300 for all of them. If they're still on, I haven't checked if they're sold on. I literally bought them all in one sitting, and that's it. I didn't really look beyond that afterward. So good luck to your heart and your wallet by that. But again, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring our bell for notification when our next video is live. But until we see each other again, for all you MCU fans, Mondo collectors, Steelbook collectors, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below. Did you pick up the third wave of the MCU Mondo series? I would love to hear your talks about it down below. And until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.